I think we are live. Yes. Hello. Happy Monday, wherever you are in the world. Happy 4th of July if you're in America, which is tomorrow. And I am Fari and this gorgeous being, Olga Tempora. Am I pronouncing it right, babe? I forgot to ask you before. It's my delightful um co-host, I should say, a partner in crime for me in being a human being, being love, being every good thing you can think of, is my lovely Olga helping me to come here to you guys and say hello to you and welcome you and invite you to a phenomenal idea, which is in our both of our head and hearts, and we have been talking about it. I mean, since the last time we came in, it was like a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it, Olga? We came in and we talked about it, and it's all about really being the best of ourselves, the best version of ourselves. And how do we do that? And how certain goodness in life, like yoga, it's been underestimated, or it's been taken wrong. And that's why we would love to come, because Olga and I are both certified yoga teachers. We're both life coaches. We're both human lovers, right? And we really would love to share our knowledge, our wisdom, our experiences in life with all of you. So I let my lovely Olga to say hello, and then we continue. Come on, love.
Yes, guys, wouldn't you just listen to Fari's voice like forever? It's just like, I just could listen to you and just kind of feel so relaxed and grounded. And I think that's actually the discussion that we are going to have today to talk a little bit about what is it and just kind of, yoga, coaching, and in mindfulness world that helps us to be grounded. We are going to talk about a word that is really sometimes taken by people by a little bit. They think it's kind of a little bit maybe strange word, chakra.
They call it the juju voodoo. It's not. It's just the energy source.
Yes, we want to really bring it just kind of, to the 21st century, what it really means, to us and how we can, benefit from just kind of talking, especially today, about just kind of one of the base chakra, which is the Muladhara chakra or root chakra. And I just will, give Fari a little word, just, that she can explain a little bit the base of it. And then we'll go from there. I just want you to know that it's a Sanskrit word, and mula means root. And then adhara means support or base. So we'll then go a little bit more into depth of it. But, Fari, would you be just kind of, so kind and let our listeners to know how you understand that word chakra and how that resonates with you, where you are and what you have been doing as a coach and as a human being?
I wish we had quite a few hours because there's a way how to explain it in little time about, the chakras that today they say it. And I hear this all the time, that they just think once you say chakras, they think, oh, first of all, people think, lots and lots of people, they think chakra, yoga is a religion. And I just said, absolutely not. I used to go to this church, and sadly, in that church and very many churches, when you said, I'm practicing yoga, they said, yoga is a religion. I said, no, it's not. Yoga is mindfulness, is the connection of your mind, body, soul. That is yoga. When you practice yoga, then you become a better Christian. You become a better, if you really want to connect it to religion. I don't believe in connection of religion and yoga, but if you want to see it that way, is the connection of you becoming a better person to yourself. Whether you want to relate it to religion, that's your choice. I've never seen that relationship. I've never felt that relationship. I just felt that yoga made me to be a most, for the lack of better word, for most loving person that I always wanted to be. And it allowed me to penetrate into yoga and let yoga penetrate to me both ways, so I can be to where I am today. Yoga makes me feel so much more serene. I have done it, many different workouts in my life, being a fitness trainer and a life coach, but nothing has had the power of the way yoga has calmed and made me serene. And the interesting is that I just started practicing yoga without knowing what chakras were. But then gradually I felt this pain was going. I've always had spine problem. I've always had injuries because of martial art. But when I was sitting, I felt this incredible pain right to the core of my butt where I was sitting on. And I had no connection that is actually, they call it the foundation of our energy sources in our spine. When you come from your butt and you come up, and that is called the root chakra, which has come from the fear, from feeling, not having confidence, which today they call it imposter syndrome. That's how they are so connected. And people feel, why do they have pain in their lower back? Somehow it connects to your sexuality, and it doesn't mean sex. You can be sensual and sexual within your spirit. It's such a vast field to cover. And when I do certain poses on my lower back, on my root chakra, that is right there, I feel the freedom on my lower back. The pain goes away, which it'd be lovely if you show us a few very simple poses that we're going to be talking about. And the root chakra, the foundation of our energy, our life-giving source, it's that where your butt hits the chair or wherever you sit. And that's where we store it. And we don't even know that we do. That's the sad thing. And all it comes to allow us to free that tension from the core of our being. And the core, people think, when you say core, they think is your stomach or your tummy. First of all, stomach is the name of the organ in our body. Tummy, I always say, when you think of your core, the pinky doesn't make your hand, thumb doesn't make your hand, 4 fingers don't make the hand like this, 4 fingers. Combination of your inner thigh coming up to your abdominal muscle, going to your waistline and going back to your back. It's combination of it. It's the core. And how do we get all of that to work together in one accord? It's the question. And when you do that, starts from your core, from your tailbone, basically. The tailbone is the foundation of our energy source. What would you say, my love? Go ahead, and I'd love for you to teach it.
Yeah, so that is, a question from Greg. I believe that it's your husband.
My hubby, yes.
Does the root chakra keep you grounded? And I think that's just, yes. We know that, a chakra center, it's just basically just kind of, yogis, they describe it as just kind of a disc. It's kind of, like when you think about a disc, it's just kind of, like an energy that is just kind of, circling through the spine, and it has about 7 centers. So today we are really just focusing on the one that I think is just so important to anyone. and that is just, really feeling grounded, because just think about it, in the world we are living, there is so many distractions. It's just, people are multitasking, right? I just, saw a person who was just, holding just kind of a kid's hand, looking at her phone, talking just kind of, to somebody on the other side of the street. So we are multitaskers. And I think that especially just kind of, knowing that that's what's going on, that we have so many distractions, it's really important to know how we can come back to ourselves. Because, when we feel overwhelmed, when we will all spread out, that's just kind of, even in our mind, that's just kind of, showing us that we are not grounded. And that center of that energy that you described, Fari, all the way just kind of at the base, of the perineum, just kind of when our sitting bone hits just kind of, the floor, usually just kind of, that's the base. And then when the base becomes all tied up, the energy is just kind of, like right there, all just kind of, in the nuts and bolts, and it cannot just kind of flow easily through the body. So that's why, we would like to guys to show you, Fari and a few just kind of like teasers, poses. There is so much, to the concept, but just, so something that you can take right away today, from this, live Facebook Live, and whenever you feel overwhelmed and you don't feel grounded, or you don't feel secure, okay, or you feel overwhelmed in your head, these are just kind of a couple of things that you can do. So Fari, if you just kind of want me, I would like to just
I'd love you to. Yes, absolutely.
I would like to show you just very basic pose that it's called a child pose, okay? And the reason that it's called a child pose is because actually, if you look at, some little, babies, they really love just kind of this pose. And sometimes they even love to kind of, like sleep in that pose like that. Not that I would, suggest it to just kind of our adults, because our hips probably would not survive it. But this is what just kind of, what it looks like, okay? So you come on all your fours first. And what I would suggest is to spread the knees a little bit wider than just kind of, your hips. Can you see? I will just...
Yes, perfectly. Yes.
Okay, great. So I will first show the pose and then some modifications. So we spread the knees a little bit wider than our hips, big toes touching, and then we simply shift the hips all the way back. And then we relax the elbows down on the floor, and then we release the forehead down all the way just kind of nicely on the yoga mat. And we can stay for about a minute, just simple breathing here. And this pose is just absolutely amazing, just kind of to ground us. Now, just a couple of modifications before we talk a little bit more about it. Sometimes people cannot, come all the way down, so you can use the blankets. I just happen to have a bolster because I'm in the yoga studio. But it's just kind of, you can always, do something, different, that you can a little bit have more support. Sometimes people need a support between, the hips and the knees, that just kind of helps some people who have really tight knees, but just kind of, finding, the pose where you can feel that you can nicely stretch through the back, and especially rest, the forehead or the head on, the yoga mat, okay? So this is, of course, there are many other really fantastic, you can have a whole segments of the poses that can be really focused on grounding, okay? But just this child pose, is just so amazing. I always suggest it to my clients. I just thought, if you have a big meeting, okay, and you know that you just kind of have to stand up in front of the people, that you will need to have a confidence, that you really need to feel that you are present and grounded, just go to your office, lock the door, and just come into the child pose just for a minute and just breathe, okay? So this is a really beautiful, beautiful pose that helps just kind of the nervous system to ground. And there is something, Fari, so amazing when we can actually rest our forehead on some surface. Sometimes I even suggest, when people cannot do the child pose, I just tell them, go close to the wall and just kind of, just rest your forehead against the wall, just like that.
I love that. It is so soothing, just that.
Yeah. So sometimes you cannot just kind of, sit down, you don't have, that luxury, or just kind of go into the full pose. But what I have shown you, just to rest the forehead, that's on its own is just so grounded. There's a message that is sent to our parasympathetic nervous system, in our brain and in, our body, to just kind of feel more calm, more present, and more, just kind of, really feeling like I can just kind of, now I'm being here at this moment in this present moment. So I hope that it answers the question to Greg.
Yeah.
So Greg, let us know if that's yes. Elizabeth Forrest, she says, I am super excited to learn about this. Yes.
Oh, yeah, my love, this is just the beginning of it, Elizabeth. You're going to get a big kick out of this. Olga, I wanted to ask you, when you put your head on the wall, because I don't have that mat on the ground. So when I'm coaching people, and it's like, coaching and being with people, sometimes we feel depleted between the clients. So I get up and I do that with my head against the wall, and I just stand right in that wall behind it, and I just stay there, and I stay with my breath. There is something with the idea of putting the head on the wall and take it off of your body and just being there and become present with your breath. Sometimes I stay there for like really a minute, and I focus on my breathing. And that's it, just a minute. And I come and sit back here, and I go to the next person. I feel so rejuvenated. That's one of it. And before I pass that, would you please go back to your yoga mat? I want to say, how you did the child's pose. So I want to say that for people that they have bad knees. I've suffered because of martial art for bad knees for over a decade, and it's about a year that I had my both knees replaced. So I could not go as down as what you see Olga can do. My knees wouldn't let me to do that. So what I did then, and now that is a year after my knee replacement, Olga, baby, can you just be there and just shift your butt and go forward and then shift back, but don't let your butt touch that. And then I tell you, yeah. So shift back, shift your butt. Okay, stop right there. That's all I could go, right? And now shift forward and suck your belly in and shift forward, and then shift, but do it slower. So that was my child pose. But to this day that I can now, I just began to be able to do more child's pose. Olga, could you open your feet as wide as your knees, please? Your feet. And bring your knees a bit closer, just like it under your hip, your knees. And bring your feet just in line with your knees. Yeah, but not together. Good. That's what I could do today. So I just go back. And then I come forward. So where Olga's hands are, like I push the mat forward and I go back and I come forward. That itself, for people with knee problem, is fabulous. So go forward and back, love. Just come forward to your hands. Yes, just that. Stop and go back. And go back here. That is for dealing with your root chakra, for people like I who have sensitive knees or have bad knees. And this also, and then if you can keep your butt where she is right now, brilliant. But if it hurts, put cushions under your knees and behind your knees, and you just go back and forth to where is doable for you and your knees. Thank you, baby. Thank you, my love.
I want to show something, I am inspired to show something, that people can do also just, with a chair. I want to show something. If people cannot even get, on, like on the knees at all, what you can do is, and of course I have some blocks here, so I can do it with the blocks, but the same thing is that I will do it this way. We'll see it. So I spread the feet a little bit, just kind of wider than my hips. And then slowly I come down. And then what I can do is I can use just kind of the blocks. That is another version of a child pose. And this is so amazing, Fari, for the lower back.
Yes, it is. But just make sure you sit into the chair so you don't fall off.
Right. So I'm sitting in the first half of the chair, just like this.
Yeah, and see where Olga Butts is on the chair. Sometimes people don't have that muscle awareness and control. So if you don't have that, then go back, sit in the middle of the chair, and then also have the where she's got the blocks on, you can have your chair and the block close to a wall, that if you possibly fall, the wall is in front of you and protects you from falling. Because I've had to teach the elderly for so long, so I've had to learn how to make it more secure for them. That, I mean, is as simple as that. And
Right.
it's so effective. I mean, when we talk about yoga, people think you put your head down, your feet up. Let me tell you, I have been practicing yoga since 2004. I've done zillions of retreat. I've never once had to do that. I've done it with one leg against the wall and one up, but I've never had to put my feet up and head down. That's not yoga. That's not the only yoga. You can do so many different, the most simple way of yoga is the most difficult ones. As another one, they call it a mountain pose. My love, would you demonstrate that? That's
Oh,
another
absolutely.
that
My
helps.
favorite. My favorite. Okay, so I will
You
show
see the
you.
yellow mat. If you go to the, yeah, perfect.
I usually use blocks just kind of to secure myself, you know. I think that you don't see my head a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, good. Perfect. Now we see you fully. While you're doing it, Elizabeth says, I like the modification for the knees. Mine are sensitive. That's it. After all the years of catching in softball, I get it, love. I do so much better with the modified positions for some of the floor exercises. Thank you. Of course, it's all a matter of being able to do it. Now, look at this is the modification what Olga is doing for just a mountain pose. All you have to do, stand up straight, but look at the blocks. So turn around and show your side, your back, your front. Perfect. And look at that. How simple is that? Yeah. And you see,
Fari, I want to tell you something. I just kind of, had a client. She just started studying with me, and she has had a lot of just kind of, lower back issues after, especially she walks or sits for a long time. And I taught her the pose that you are asking me to do, Tadasana mountain pose. And one thing what is really important, and it's for Elizabeth too, Elizabeth Forrest, when you stand up, when we stand in just kind of the mountain pose, one thing that people need to know is that 90% of the weight is in calcaneus, in the heel, and only 10% is in just kind of the toes. And what it does when you shift the weight of your body into the heels, you really need to start working more the front of your thighs, the quads, that helps you actually to prop your just kind of the whole structure. And it just awakens, the lower back muscles. They really have to just kind of, get, at work. And just, I have seen this lady only today. She had my third session with her. So she started a couple of weeks ago, and she just told me, Olga, I cannot believe it. I just don't, I don't have, any pain after I walk anymore. And she just said, what was really just kind of, so revealing to me, just you teaching me that when I stand up, that I need to shift the weight of your body into the heels, because it awakens the pelvic floor. It awakens those muscles in the deep, just kind of, lower area below the navel, core muscles, and really activates the multifidus muscles. So those are the muscles all the way in the lumbar spine. They have to kind of, be active. And just only that, activating those muscles, it made it for her, and we are of course talking about chakra today, which is just kind of feeling grounded. Okay. And just kind of, if you have a back pain, it means that you don't know how to, be properly grounded in your feet. So just, simple things like, you are hearing here, grounding through heels when you stand up, just, try it and see what you kind of, feel, with that.
And one of the other things that when it comes to standing mountain pose, and I say to everyone, instead of just think about focusing on your heels only now, take that to your daily life. So when you're standing, sadly, you can see that people stand with their toes like this. The toes get no love, and the toes have to be stretched out. So I always say, I want you to think about a car a car has 4 wheels. So imagine, see how that's exactly right. Look at what Olga is showing to you guys. So think about, that's a bad foot. Olga, keep your right foot like that, my love. And then go with your left foot on the mat. And then I say, look at the left foot and just think about each foot is like a car has 4 wheels. The inner edge of your heel, the outer edge of your heel, the ball of your big toe, and the root of your pinky are your 4 wheels on each car. So you should be on 8 wheels, 4 on each leg. And then think about, look at that. Look at how she's stretching her toes forward. When you stand up, stretch each toe, just like your neck, your spine, just like your fingers. Stretch those toes forward. Focus on the wheels of the car, the 4 wheels, the root of your big toe, the root of your pinky, the inner edge of your heel, and the outer edge of your heel on each foot. Look how you expand your feet and how you stand on your feet, not on one side. I by myself, I mean, 66 years ago in Iran, I don't think it was in America or anywhere in the world, let alone in Iran, there were no foot doctor for children to fix their feet. The result is that my feet are crooked and cockeyed, and it is so painful for me. I have the highest arch one can have. I have that. It radiates on my lower back. So when they wanted to do the back surgery on me many years ago, yoga saved me. I still have back problem, don't forget, but I have back problem when I don't do yoga.
Right.
The minute I do yoga, everything gets elongated. Everything gets more serene because I am using all my joints in my body. Right, my love?
Yes, I have just kind of, here again, Greg, he's saying, I was amazed how much of contraction there is in yoga versus stretching. Yes. So I think that, Greg, what you are meaning, contraction is kind of, like more kind of like engagement, of the muscles, right? Because, this is something really interesting what Greg is also, bringing up. And that is that, in yoga, if, for instance, I just kind of, go to a forward bend, which is also actually grounding pose, it's called Uttanasana. I want to show something to Greg, okay? So when I come into the pose that it's called forward bend, and I hinge from my hips, okay? Many people think that I'm just stretching everything, but what actually needs to happen is that the quadriceps needs to contract, okay? So these muscles have to engage, contract, so that actually the muscles on the back of the legs can stretch. So it's always the muscles work in the opposite. I cannot think that I'm stretching the front, the back, everything. Actually, I need to contract.
Correct.
Bring the opening and lengthening just kind of, in those muscles on the back of the legs, okay? So that was a beautiful, beautiful question that just, or comment that Greg brought to just kind of, our conversation. Yes, you always have muscles working just kind of, like almost like the opposites in order to actually support each other, okay? And a lot of people, when think about yoga, they think stretching, but there need to be engagement and contraction in order for a certain part of the body to be open and stretched out. So thank you, Greg. That's an excellent point.
If I tell you about Greg, my hubby, he has been a runner, marathon runner, all of that runner. So when he met me, he'd never done yoga ever. And then short while after that, he started doing yoga. So Greg, by birth, they go like this. His whole family go like this. And his children are young and athlete and beautiful, but they all inherited this in their back. After these few years that he's been doing back, as we get older, every problem we have, it becomes exacerbate life, and it goes like that word. Greg is not any worse than 5 years ago when he started doing yoga, and he's still here, and I wanted him to be here. I would have expected him to be here, and he's not. And now he practices yoga on daily basis on top of any other workout that he does, and he feels his body. As I said, as we're getting older, our muscles would
Right.
leave us if we don't work on them. But for the man being 69 years old today, he has more muscle than when I met him a few
Right.
years ago. And wherever we go, and he wears a tank top like that, my nephews are huge in workout. They go say, boy, is he working out? I said, it's all yoga.
Yeah.
It's
You know what you can, and this is really for anyone, especially, I know that coaches and a lot of people, they sit a lot just kind of, behind
right.
the computer. So the lower back issues are very common. And even what you are talking about, just kind of, Greg, I want to give you guys a really fun tip that you can start doing just kind of, right away. If you want me to show what it's kind of good for that hunchback,
Yes, ma'am, for sure.
what you can do is you just take any blanket, okay? And what you do is you just fold it into a little kind of like a mini bolster. Can you see it? So I really try to condense it, really just kind of, into this tight, little tiny bolster. Can you see that?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, perfect.
and
Mhm.
then I place it on the yoga mat, okay? And then I take just kind of very top of my shoulder blades, not shoulders, but shoulder blades. And what I do is I bring my hands back behind my head, okay? And when I do this, I keep the knees bent and then very gently open up just kind of, through the chest. This is a fabulous, fabulous exercise for people who have a hunchback. Sometimes people are so tight there that they still need to have some support back
Yes,
behind.
that's great.
So that they have that. Some people don't need that. And then what you do is you stay here for just kind of about a minute, and then you can move about an inch toward the back, lengthen and release a little bit more down. And then you can do it. I'm doing it a little bit faster, right? Just kind of really beautiful. Can you see, Fari, how my chest is open?
Very well, my love. Whilst you're doing this, can you also do it with the blocks across there and under your head? That's what Greg does. And when they are that,
Right.
yes, and with the block under your back instead of blanket, that if they don't have the blanket, they can
Yes. So,
how it opens them up. It's
so the other,
amazing.
yes. So the other just kind of, form is just kind of, like this one. And if you create kind of a T shape, you start all the way at the base of the shoulder blades, or for ladies, where the bra strap is, right? That's the first edge, of, that first block. And you can come down, you make sure that the shoulder blades are on it, and then you relax the head. If you feel that that's not enough, you can go to the tallest. I call it mama bear, baby bear, mama bear, and papa bear size of the block. So now I am in papa bear, so that's the tallest one. Usually people are fine with mama bear,
Yeah.
just
And
like
can you
this.
show the variety on their legs, how they can do it? Change
Yes,
the positioning on the legs.
the other part is that they can then, if it's okay for the lower back, they can then stretch the legs, right? They can stretch legs, engage again, pressing the heels, the calf, the buttocks, okay? And then what you can do is you can take your arms up and then really nice to just kind of, lengthen through the entire torso. I'm still engaging my navel toward the spine and really beautifully just kind of lengthening. I just love this. This is just kind of opening the entire torso. It beautifully engages the core, and it really is antidote to just, aging, and to really keeping those shoulders kind of collapsed. Because when you come from a pose like that, and you want to sit up, you are just much more, open immediately. And there is something so beautiful about opening the chest, because that immediately just kind of release any anxiety, or any stress. There is something wonderful when we open up just kind of, the chest and create a space, for our heart. So, yeah.
And when they say yoga is all about stretch, I said it's not. When part of your body is contract, the opposite muscle is stretching.
Right.
You're working, you're doing the two in one. And because we do so much yoga, then we realize we really don't need to go for massages anymore, because you're massaging yourself internally, inside out. And that's the beauty of it. And the good thing is that I'm saying the good thing because that's the best way to deal with people that they have injuries, they're overweight and all of that. For me to go through all these injuries and find a solution for it from yoga, not only it has kept me sharp, it keeps me be better in any other sport that I do, and just be aware of my muscles. And then it's not just the muscle, it's the connection of your muscles to your heart, mind, soul. And that's the beauty of it. That's why Olga and I are so big on sharing the goodness of engaging the yoga with the coaching world. It's all interconnection. It's just a matter of creating this space for everyone to learn how much we are creator of our own environment, what we want in our, not just here, in connection of our head and our heart. It can be done much stronger, sealed together when we engage the yoga in it, when we engage the breathing into it. The breathing is humongous. And what Olga and I are planning to do, which hopefully takes place in 24, correct, is that we want to, we will be going live regularly on this and talking about, every time we come, we talk about one chakra. So today we started it from root chakra. Next time we come, we're going to go to the second chakra. And if you want, you can stay and wait for us to teach you, or you can go and search on it. So when we come and teach you, you have more knowledge about it. And every time we come, we have poses that, because Olga has the studio, I don't. So it's wonderful that Olga can show you. And then I can do it with breathing technique, and I can help you on that to see like how much more you can do. And then gradually we start doing registering online, and we engage you so you can come and you can do with us, talk with us and all that. And in 24, we will have a retreat here in California, and it will be so much fun. Right, Olga?
Yes, absolutely. It has been a great pleasure. Just really honestly, we just touch, on some little tidbits of just, beautiful, not only topics, but just kind of in what kind of a depth you can go, into it. I really just, appreciate that today we could do some poses, talk about the benefits of it. And I know that there is going to be some takeaway, from here. It's, people either just will know something more about standing, in their heels to ground ourselves, or resting the forehead against the wall, or going into the child pose. If I cannot be on the knees, do it on a chair, right? Or just Fari has had a really nice just kind of combo that she let me just kind of, do with my body. So it was beautiful. If you allow me, Fari, I would like to close a little bit with grounding, just kind of, exercise.
Yes.
And then we can just kind of, because, it's about, 30, 35 minutes we are on. If anybody would like to join with this, we can have just kind of this really nice, grounding, ending of our session. Okay.
Let's, absolutely. I was going to do it, and I like you do it beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. So, I would like everyone just kind of, you can either sit up, for this part, or you can lay down on the back, either in bed or just kind of on a sofa. Just make sure that you have some support under your knees if you are laying on the back. And then just relax your hands. If you are sitting up, you can relax your hands on just kind of, your thighs, either palms down or palms up. Wonderful. And just you can close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, I would like you to notice the parts of your body that are touching the ground. So we are talking about grounding and balancing just kind of from the base, of our being. And so it is whatever touches the floor is the foundation of your posture. And then simply notice how the breath passes through your body. Notice what happens as you exhale with the parts of the body that you feel the sense of connection between you and the yoga mat or the ground. Breathing in, I relax my body. Breathing out, I relax my mind. Grounded in the present moment. It is the only moment. So again, inwardly, repeat after me inside. Breathing in, I relax my body. Breathing out, I relax my mind. Grounded in the present moment. It is the only moment. Beautiful. Just take a nice long deep breath in. Hold the breath at the end of the inhalation just for a second. And then release through the mouth. And just do it one more time. Take a nice long deep breath in. Pause and exhale. It has been an amazing pleasure to be with everyone, especially those of you who might watch just kind of, the recording. We really appreciate that you are tuning in. We love your questions and comments. And Fari, she will tell you here at the end when we are going to meet again. So Fari, take it away.
Thank you, darling. That was lovely. You got me because I was going to do the breathing that it was like more intense, but you brought it down. So that's lovely. Fantastic. Thank you. And yes, we decided, oh gosh, remind me, the day is going to be sometimes in July, because we're leaving town, Greg and I, next week to go to our holiday and meet our beautiful friend in Canada. So when we come back, we said, what day, baby?
I think if I recall correctly, it was on July 24 on Monday, and it was 3 p.m. California time and 6 p.m.
That's right. That's right. So it's 3 p.m. Pacific time.
Yes.
And then it's 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Right.
So we just thought if we do it at that time, it's a good time in here. I'm hoping it's a good time in here. And also in the Eastern time, they're all home, they've done their work, and they can just join in and get rejuvenated. And we're going to do this for few sessions until we travel through all the chakras and we come to the crown chakra. And then after that, we're going to offer a registration so we can all get together for free. No money is involved. So you can all come in and we can put a poll and see what time is the best time to make it happen. So it caters to the majority, and we can do that. And then after that, we're going to be offering our retreat, which is going to be, it probably won't be until like October or so, that when we decide where it's going to be and what it's going to be like. And it's just going to be, it's going to be rejuvenating. It's going to be creative. It's going to be wonderful and loving and fun. I am all about fun, no matter what you do in life, how serious and how spiritual it is. It must start with fun. It has to go through being fun, and it has to end fun. Fun is all we live for, isn't it, Olga, my love?
Absolutely.
That's why we do yoga.
We are, so that we might have joy. This is just kind of, why we are here, to be able to kind of, know how to cultivate, joy and fun in our lives.
Mm-hmm. It's all about that. It's just that we have this moment.
Right.
Tomorrow is not promised, but this moment is the moment. So when we get all together, when we register in here, it'll be the present moment. When we're going to our retreat that we offer later on in California, it's about that moment, which is now. It's always about now in this moment. And until then, so we look forward to see you guys July 27th at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And until then, if you have any question, any comments, whatever you feel like, please come here and share with us and help us to help you grow and create a new version of ourselves while we're helping you to create a new version of you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was wonderful. And have a blessed and beautiful, safe 4th of July. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Bye.